USC versus San Jose State coming up. Big ish, I guess, game. I mean, it's a big game because it's the first game of Big Ten football, so we're excited about that. Overall, this is not a game that I am anticipating USC will struggle with at all. This is the type of preview where we're much less talking about will USC win or not, and much more talking about what do we want to see. What can Gary Patterson or maybe the USC offense do out here to kind of give us an idea of what the season's going to be like. So Zach, before we get into like some offense defense kind of stuff, is there anything big picture wise with this game you're looking for, you're thinking about? Right now, USC is favored by 38.5 on FanDuel. The over-under is 60.5. So obviously USC highly favored in this one, as they should be. But is there anything big picture wise you're looking at with this game?
Yeah, I think you want to see how the new look USC defense looks. And not in the sense, like they should dominate. San Jose State stinks. Phil Steele has them ranked 131 out of 138 or 139. How many teams are in FBS right now? I think it's 139.
It's either 139 or 138.
It's 138. 138. 138. He has them ranked 131st overall. San Jose State is not a good team. But you want to see them doing the fundamental things. And you want to see USC overwhelm San Jose State. Like that's what you want to see. It's not even about points. Like if your backups get in and allow a couple of junk scores, that's fine. What you want to see is your first stringers and some of your key backups. Are they playing fundamentally sound football? Are they locked in? Do they understand their concepts? Do they understand how the structure of their defense? That's what matters. And do they show signs of overwhelming inferior talent? That to me matters. If they win by 30, but it feels hard, that's when I'd kind of sound the alarm bells. Because USC should just clear both on offense and defense.
Yeah, they should totally dominate this game. There's no question there. This is definitely a game where you're kind of like looking at certain players and certain things to kind of see how it goes. Like when we go to the USC offense, literally one of my points is like see how Jaden Mayava is connecting with the new wide receivers, to new Kynes, Terrell Anderson, guys like that. Like I think Jaden Mayava is going to have a day here. I would not be surprised at all if he gets nearly 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Then the only reason I think he might not get there is he might be coming out at the very beginning of the second half. He might do one drive in the second half and then come out after that. If you're a USC fan, that's exactly what you want to see because that means your team absolutely dominated. There was no question, and Jaden Mayava and everybody looked real good out there. Now, if he doesn't, is that cause for concern? I don't think so because you do get kind of rusty and stuff like that very first game of the season. So I'm not too concerned if they don't come out and they're not firing all cylinders right away. But I do want to see the run game doing really well. With this many offensive linemen back, with Wayman Jordan back, with King Miller back, you need to have a running game right away. If Jaden Mayav is not clearly in sync with his wide receivers to begin with, okay, I can be fine with that. That they'll get that a little bit later on. You still have more weeks until the Oregon game, and so you're fine there. But if the running game is not clearly in sync and running well, then I might have a little bit more concern. Anything you got on offense, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I think I want to see the offensive line. They lost their center in preseason and in fall camp, and I have fairly high confidence that Mayava will be able to connect. I think the things you brought up were good, like how's the communication, how's the timing on routes. USC needs to establish a physical offensive identity. Just like I think they need to establish a physical defensive identity. To me, those are the two things. Does USC overwhelm San Jose State? Because I think that's the key. If USC wants to do better than 8-4, they have to be able to stack up to the big time offensive and defensive lines in college football. And so they can't draw us. They can't be just marginally better than a bad team up front.
Trojan Fight says rumor from camp is that USC was struggling to run between the tackles. Hopefully, it's more due to a tough defensive front more than an incapable offensive lineman. Well, and you also have to remember the center too, and that's something that Zach brought up that needs to be looked at as well. I want to see how much they rotate at center. Do they have their one guy and that's their dude? Is it Tobias Raymond? That's their dude, and they're just going to roll with him and give it all to him, or are they going to go with what's his name, Kalen Miller, or the other one, Will Washer? I think it is. Like, are they going to go with some of those other guys at times and try to rotate and see what the different looks, the different things look like out there? I'm interested in that, but at the end of the day, I just don't want to even notice the center. To me, that would be the best thing if you don't even notice who the center is, because it means that they're just playing so well. But I definitely think there is something there to the defensive front for USC being better. They have some veterans on the interior of that defensive line that could really wreak some havoc and do some of that stuff. So. And then final thing on offense would be who is Jaden Mayava's go-to guy? If they're in 3rd and 3. Who's he looking to? Who's he going to? Who do they run the play for at that time? Is he going to scramble for it on the very first 3rd and 3? Is he going to go to Tanuk Hines, Terrell Anderson? Who's it going to be? I'm very interested to see. And it's not just those guys. They have other guys, Zacharias Williams and some other younger receivers too. So it's not just those guys, but those would be probably my first 2 or 3 I would think of for that spot.
Yeah. I think Dixon Wyatt, right, is coming in as a freshman. It could be
Mosley, another freshman. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that is one curious thing. Is I think maybe the consensus is that Hines will be wide receiver 1, and I think he's a good talent. I think the question is, like, can he ascend to that role, and how does Terrell Anderson do adjusting to the Big Ten from the ACC? So I think those are questions, but again, you're playing against San Jose State. You're right in that we're really just looking for trends. Where does Jaden Mayava look first? Who's his go-to? Like, I think those are real questions.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the defense. Zach, welcome to the Gary Patterson era. What are you looking for with the Gary Patterson era on defense?
Yeah, I think you said offense and I went defense first. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Defensively, I'll just say, like, I want to see them overwhelm this team. Like, I want to see that defensive line take over. Honestly, if I'm a USC fan, I want to see a team that is aggressive and that does not let up, that is fundamentally sound. Like, I want to see them swallow that offensive line. That's really all I want to see, because the back end stuff, you can fix that, but I think you can't have a defensive line that's allowing, consistent 4 to 5 yards per run. That's giving a quarterback plenty of time. Like, they need to be on it from the word go.
Yeah, no, I'm all with you. I think that the defensive line for USC, what they look like with Jakeem Stewart, it's going to be really important to look at as well. But overall, like, the stuff I'm looking for in this one is, like, and you're not always going to be able to see it, which is unfortunate with the TV copy. And I don't think San Jose State will always take advantage of it. I just don't think they're a talented enough team to always take advantage of it if it happens. But, I'm looking for fewer busted assignments. I'm looking for faster communication. I want as many defenders around the football as possible. You should be able to outspeed this team in every single way. How many missed tackles do they have? Just some of the things with USC has not always been like they haven't been good players or anything. Like, I think they have had really good players over the years. It's just they've not been always well coached, and they've not always been in the right positions. Some of that's on D'Anton Lynn, and some of that's also, I think, that the defense kind of got gassed sometimes with the way the offense was working with them. But I don't think that's going to continue with Gary Patterson. I don't think Gary Patterson takes this job if you were going to get Lincoln Riley to treat him like he did Alex Grinch, right? Lincoln Riley knew Alex Grinch was nothing as a coordinator. And so he just tried to do everything he possibly could with the offense, which I don't necessarily always think was the worst idea. You can't set up your defense if you don't trust your defense. I think you're going to see Lincoln Riley trust this defense more, and if there's fewer busted assignments, better tackling, better getting to the ball together as a unit, and if they disguise too, how much simulated pressure and stuff like that are we going to see? Gary Patterson's not been a defensive coordinator in a while, but he did some really nice things at TCU. You give him just the defensive side of the ball. Chip Kelly did a pretty good job with it, obviously with Ohio State when he went there from UCLA. I think this is kind of like the playground a little bit for a guy like Gary Patterson. Just give me the defense and let me cook. Let me go out there and go crazy with it.
Let him cook. That's what I heard. I think that is the. So I want to see them overwhelmed, but I think one of the things you're bringing up, which is good too. Fundamentally sound. They know their plays. They read their keys. They don't miss tackles.
Mm-hmm.
But, the fundamentals. How are you at the fundamentals?
How are you with the fundamentals? I totally agree. Let's do anything else on defense. You didn't have anything else, right?
No.
Okay. Luke Wafel.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that.
We want to see at least one Luke Wafel sack.
Yeah.
We do need
or
that.
at least, even if he doesn't get a sack, do we see the potential of him taking over the game?
Mm-hmm. That's a good point, too.
Yeah.
All right. You got a score prediction?
I'm going to go a slight cover for San Jose State. 49-13.
All right.
I think it'll be an over and a San Jose State cover. And I think it might be a backdoor cover. But I just think that USC is going to get up. I think they are going to dominate. Because, again, I have USC 8-4. That does not mean I think that they are a bad team.
No.
I think
they'll be bad.
I think they are a very good team. And I think they should be respected and possibly even feared. I think they're going to get up like 35-0 at half. And I think maybe 28-0. And then I think you're going to see second string and third string go in. And I think you'll see some junk scores by San Jose State.
I have USC winning 45-10 in this one. So I guess technically I have San Jose State covering as well. But I would also not be surprised if this gets up into the 50s and maybe even the 60s with Lincoln Riley, with him wanting to try to, run his offense and just do as much as he possibly can. So I got 45-10, but I would not be surprised at all if they go more than that. 38.5 is a lot.
It is a lot.
So
I was going to say, we're 1 point off from score differential. You have 35, I have 36.
Yeah.
So
Neat. All right. Anything else with this game?
Well, I'll just say the method of my madness, I don't think Lincoln Riley's going to settle for a field goal. I was like, 45? No.
You gotta get the kicker some time. Get the kicker out there one time. Let him.
Did he hire Kirk Ferentz?
No, but still, you gotta get a little bit of confidence.
I'm kidding.